Ever felt like you're drowning in information when you're trying to learn something new?
Oh, absolutely.
Or maybe you're staring at some technical paper thinking, can someone just boil this down for
Yeah.
me?
Tell me what actually matters.
Exactly. Maybe you're prepping for a big meeting, trying to get smart on a new field, or, maybe you're just really curious about stuff.
Well, if that sounds like you're in the right place.
You are. This is the deep dive. Our whole mission is to cut through that noise, pull out the really important bits from, well, usually a stack of sources, and tailor it for you.
Making sense of the complex stuff.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
And today, we're diving into a really fascinating new study.
Uh-huh.
It looks at how mixing advanced virtual reality with a more hands-on way of learning might just, totally change education.
Oh, interesting. VR in the classroom.
Yeah, specifically for subjects like geography, but honestly, I think the potential reach is way bigger.
Okay.
So the big questions we're going to try and unpack are, does VR actually make learning better, especially for tricky subjects?
Right. Does it go beyond just being cool?
Does it help us think more deeply? Get past just memorizing stuff?
The higher order thinking skill.
Exactly. And what could this all mean for how we learn, how we teach,
Sure.
maybe even how you tackle new information in the future?
Okay. Sounds like a meaty topic. What's the source?
Our main source today is this really compelling research article just out in the Journal of Educational Computing Research.
Okay.
It breaks down a study they did with high school students over in Thailand. And honestly, some of the findings were pretty surprising.
Intriguing. Let's get into it.
All right. So let's set the scene a bit. The landscape of learning today.
Mm-hmm.
The skills you need now, it's way more than just knowing facts. Right?
Oh, absolutely. The world moves too fast for that.
With tech changing all the time, information overload, we need things like critical thinking, problem solving.
Creativity, communication, collaboration.
Yeah. It's about handling complex situations, not just spitting back data.
It's funny you mentioned geography, though.
Right. It often gets that rap, memorizing capitals, longest rivers.
Yeah, kind of dusty.
But actually, it's surprisingly fertile ground for building these exact higher-order thinking skills.
How so?
Well, think about it. Geography, both physical and human, deals with real-world issues, complex systems, analyzing data, spatial reasoning.
That's true. It forces you to connect dots across different domains. Climate, economics, culture.
Exactly. So while traditional teaching might just be lectures, the subject itself is perfect for critical analysis and even creative problem solving. It connects right to our world.
So it's actually a strategic place to foster those advanced skills.
Precisely. And how do you build those skills effectively?
Well, one approach that's really gained ground is inquiry-based learning, IBL.
IBL. Okay, break that down. Is it like letting kids loose in the lab?
Huh. Sort of. Think less passive note-taking, more active investigation, like turning students into, as you said earlier, little detectives or mini-scientists.
So they're figuring things out themselves.
Exactly. IBL encourages students to explore, to ask questions, to investigate, and basically construct their own knowledge.
Active participation.
Right. It ties into what we call constructivist learning theory, the idea that learners build understanding through experience and interaction.
And that fosters those key skills. Communication, creativity.
Definitely. Communication, collaboration, creativity, critical thinking IBL is great for all of those. The main challenge, historically.
Let me guess. Time?
You got it. It can be pretty time-consuming to do well in a standard classroom setup.
Okay, so that's IBL. Now, where does the tech come in? You mentioned VR.
Right. Specifically, spherical video-based virtual reality, or SVVR.
SVVR.
Yeah.
Catchy. So what is that exactly? Is it like Google Street View on steroids?
That's actually not a bad way to think about it. It's like those panoramic views, but way more immersive. You're not just looking at a screen.
You're in it.
You feel like you've stepped inside. You can look all around, 360 degrees. It creates this real sense of presence.
Wow.
And that's huge for education. Imagine turning a traditional lesson into an interactive space where you feel physically present, even if it's a simulation.
So this study we're looking at, it mashed these two things together, IBL and this SVVR.
Precisely. They brought together the active investigation of IBL with the deep immersion of SVVR.
And the big question was, what happens? Does it work?
Yeah, the hypothesis was that this specific combo would be really effective at boosting not just learning facts, but those higher order thinking skills we talked about.
Especially for something like geography.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where visualizing complex landscapes or, virtually visiting somewhere far away could be a total game changer compared to just looking at maps or pictures.
Okay, I'm hooked. Let's get into the experiment itself. How did they actually test this?
All right, so they use a specific framework for the IBL part called the 5E instructional model.
5E. Okay, sounds like a system.
It is. It gives structure to the inquiry process. Think of it like 5 stages.
Oh, yeah, on me.
Okay, first, you engage. Spark their curiosity, get them interested.
Makes sense.
Then explore. This is the hands-on part, the investigation.
Okay.
Third is explain. Students discuss what they found, articulate their understanding. Teachers help clarify concepts here.
Right, so that's making.
Then elaborate. Apply what they've learned to new situations, extend their understanding.
Taking it further.
And finally, evaluate. Assess their learning, both for the student and the teacher.
Engage, explore, explain, elaborate, evaluate, the 5Es.
Got it. So in this study, the SVVR wasn't just sprinkled in randomly. It was strategically used, especially in those first 2 stages.
Engage and explore.
Exactly. To provide these really rich, authentic virtual environments right from the start. A powerful way to kick off the inquiry.
Okay, so who are the students and how is it set up?
They used what's called a quasi-experimental design.
Yeah.
Basically, they used existing classes, not randomly assigned groups.
Okay.
74 high school students in Thailand. They split them. 39 in the experimental group using SVVR with IBL.
The VR group.
Right. And 35 in the control group doing IBL but using more traditional methods.
Like PowerPoints and websites?
Exactly. And crucially, they checked beforehand. Both groups started at about the same level in geography skills and higher order thinking. So a fair comparison.
Good. And what were they learning about?
The topic was floodplains, specifically comparing the Chao Phraya River in Thailand
Okay, local context.
and the Tam Sui River in Taiwan.
Ah, interesting comparison. So picture this for me. What did the engages stage look like for each group?
Big difference. The control group, teacher leads a discussion, shows a PowerPoint with pictures, maybe a standard video of the Chao Phraya, trying to get a feel for it that way.
Okay. And the VR group?
They put on the goggles. Their journey starts in a virtual classroom with some prompt questions, then bam. They're virtually standing on a bridge over the Chao Phraya.
Wow. Instant field trip.
Pretty much. They can look around 360 degrees, see the riverside, human activity. There were even embedded video clips and text prompts asking things like, how is the land along the banks being used? Really guiding their observation.
That sounds way more engaging.
Definitely seemed to be. Then for the explore stage, the control group watched a video about the Tam Sui River in Taiwan, did some online research on its flood management.
Okay.
The SVVR group, they explored the Tam Sui River's floodplain management, pumping stations, green spaces, all within that interactive virtual environment.
So they're virtually walking around these places.
Essentially, yes, exploring the solutions in situ, virtually.
Okay, so after engage and explore comes away. Explain. What happened then?
Both groups worked in teams, discussing what they'd learned about floodplains, trying to make sense of it all.
Collaborating.
Yeah, but you can imagine the SVVR group had this really vivid, shared virtual experience to draw on. It wasn't just abstract concepts, they'd seen it.
Like comparing notes after actually being there.
Exactly. Gave them a much richer foundation for their discussions.
And then elaborate. Applying the knowledge.
Right. The teacher posed open-ended questions like, okay, if you were a homeowner, or the government, or a business, how would you tackle flood management along the Chao Phraya?
Real-world problem solving.
Totally. Both groups brainstormed, came up with solutions, presented them on posters. But here's a key difference again.
Yeah.
The SVVR group could actually revisit the virtual environment. If they were stuck on a solution, they could pop the goggles back on, look again, refine their ideas based on those virtual observations.
That's powerful. Revisiting the scene.
Made their proposed solutions potentially more concrete, more grounded.
Okay, this setup sounds really interesting. So the big moment, what did they find? The results.
All right, the big reveals. Let's start with just like basic learning outcomes. Did they learn the geography stuff?
Yeah, the core content.
Good news all around, actually. Both groups showed significant improvements after the lessons.
So IBL works even the traditional way?
Utterly effective, yeah.
Good.
But, and here's the kicker, the SVVR-based IBL group, they achieved notably higher gains. It wasn't just a little bit better, the improvement was significantly greater.
Wow, okay. Why? What did the researchers think caused that?
They pointed to the SVVR creating a much more engaging and interactive environment. It really seemed to help students visualize complex geographical stuff.
Things that are hard to picture from a book.
Exactly. Things like land use patterns, river dynamics, stuff that's tough to grasp just from static images or text. And the student interviews back this up.
Oh, yeah. What did the students say?
The SVVR kids often talked about improved visualization, while the control group sometimes mentioned struggling to imagine the places.
Makes sense. Seeing is believing, or at least understanding.
Something like that. Okay, so that's learning outcomes. But what about the real prize?
Higher order thinking, critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity.
Right, those deeper skills.
Yeah.
So let's break those down.
Okay.
For critical thinking and problem solving, both groups, again, showed significant improvement.
Interesting. So IBL itself is good for that, VR or not.
It seems that way. The inquiry process itself pushes those analytical skills, but creativity.
Was there a difference there?
Big time. This was maybe the most striking finding. Only the SVVR-based IBL group showed a significant increase in creativity.
Really? The control group didn't?
Nope. Their creativity scores didn't significantly change from pre-test to post-test.
Whoa. Okay, that's huge. Why would VR specifically boost creativity?
That's the million-dollar question, right? The researchers suggested a few things. The immersive 360 environment, the interactive elements.
Maybe seeing it from all angles sparked new ideas.
Could be. But they particularly highlighted how SVVR supported the group work and the scenario tasks in that elaborate stage.
Ah, when they were designing the flood solution.
Exactly. Being able to revisit the virtual space, reobserve details, discuss it while looking at the real thing virtually. That process seems to have really stimulated creative problem solving.
Collaboration fueled by immersion.
Yeah, research does show creativity often thrives in interactive, collaborative settings. The SVVR just seemed to supercharge that dynamic.
Fascinating. Okay, beyond the scores, you mentioned student interviews. What was the experience like for them? The human side?
Yeah, the qualitative data adds so much color. Students in the SVVR group, they loved it, mostly.
What did they like?
The immersion, definitely. One kid said it was like seeing the actual situation for what it is, that sense of presence.
Yeah.
The novelty was a big factor, too. Never studied this way before, like seeing real images. It made complex stuff clearer, more engaging.
I bet.
Another student put it nicely. With VR, you see more than just the city layout. You see how homes are placed. Proximity to rivers helps when you put this information into a project.
Getting that spatial context.
Exactly. And the little quizzes embedded in the VR, they said that boosted motivation too.
Okay, sounds mostly positive for the VR group's experience. What about the control group? Or challenges for either?
Well, active engagement was high in both groups during the group work parts, the explain and elaborate stages, so collaboration was good across the board.
That's good.
But challenges. The control group often mentioned the lack of visualization, feeling it was difficult to imagine the concepts, and also limited time, feeling they were only scratching the surface.
The classic constraints.
Right. Now, the experimental group wasn't without issues either. New tech, new problems.
Like what? Technical glitches?
Some of that, yeah. Device problems, malfunctions, screen lag, but also cyber sickness.
Oh, right. The VR motion sickness thing.
Yeah, some students reported dizziness, nausea, disorientation. That obviously impacts concentration.
That's a definite downside.
And for the teachers, classroom management was a hurdle. Handing out devices, making sure they work, troubleshooting. It took time, sometimes slowed things down.
So the old way had visualization gaps. The new way had some literal bumps in the road.
Yeah, that sums it up. Trade-offs, but the potential upsides seem really significant.
Okay, stepping back then. What are the big takeaways? Why does this matter?
Well, this study gives pretty strong backing to the idea that SVVR, when you use it thoughtfully with something like IBL, can really boost learning and higher order thinking, especially creativity.
Makes learning more interactive, engaging, maybe even more efficient.
Potentially, yeah. It really highlights technology's value in making abstract or distant concepts tangible.
And like we said, this isn't just about geography in Thailand, right? The implications feel much broader.
Absolutely. Think anatomy, architecture, engineering simulations, history, environmental science. Anything we're seeing and interacting with a complex environment or object is beneficial.
Virtual field trips, virtual labs, virtual design studios.
The possibilities are huge. It suggests educators, policymakers, they should seriously look at integrating tech like SVVR into curricula.
Using it with models like 5e, so it's not just tech for tech's sake.
Crucial point, it needs pedagogical grounding. SVVR is amazing for creating realistic, accessible environments for things students can't easily experience firsthand.
But there are always buts. Before everyone rushes out to buy VR headsets for every school, what are the caveats, the limitations?
Right, essential caveats. The study authors were good about pointing these out. First, that novelty effect.
Was it just cool because it was new?
Exactly. We need longer-term studies to see if the benefits stick around once the initial excitement fades.
Makes sense. What else?
Practical stuff. Scalability and cost. This isn't cheap. You need devices, content creation, maintenance, planning.
Big investment.
Huge. And related to that, infrastructure.
Mhm.
Reliable internet, suitable classroom space, technical support on hand.
Not always easy, especially everywhere.
Definitely not. Then there's teacher readiness. This is critical. Teachers need training not just on using the tech, but on integrating it effectively without burning themselves out.
Can't just dump it on them.
Absolutely not. And finally, those technical challenges need addressing. Developing more stable, user-friendly SVVR platforms to minimize things like cyber sickness and glitches.
Lots to consider for widespread adoption.
For sure, it's promising, hugely promising, but not a simple plug-and-play solution yet.
Okay, so wrapping this up, we've heard how stepping into a virtual world, especially when you combine it with active inquiry, can really unlock creativity and deeper understanding.
Moving beyond just reading about it.
So, thinking about your own world, listener,
Yeah.
what's a real challenge or maybe a new skill you're trying to get your head around that could benefit from a totally new, immersive, deep dive approach like this?
Yeah, and taking it a step further, now that you understand a bit more about how these technologies work and their potential, how might that empower you to maybe seek out or perhaps even design your own immersive learning experiences?
For whatever it is you want to master, right? Personal growth, professional skills.
Or just satisfying that curiosity. How can you leverage these ideas to learn better and deeper?
A great thought to leave everyone with.